In this presentation, I'll be talking about this Chevron case being overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. And a lot of people are asking, is that going to make a difference with the IRS? Well, Supreme Court decisions sometimes do make a big difference, sometimes they don't. So we'll see. We'll talk about that topic. And then, of course, at the end, I'll be happily answering your questions. Remember, folks, before we start, that I'm going to be in Greenwood Village, and it's a free event, 8:30 till 5:30 p.m. this Saturday, July 13th. You can be there in person or watch it online if you cannot be there in person. But ideally, what you want to do to be there in person, many people are flying in, but register online at freedomlawschool.org. So that we save the space for you. Now, the people are asking me, by the way, while we're at it, hey, Peymon, when are you going to come to our part of USA and do a presentation? Well, I'm looking at doing an event coming up later this year in Dallas area. So that's where we are considering. And also, Red Pill of G. Edward Griffin. I understand he has an event in Tulsa, Oklahoma planned for the middle of November, November 15th. But at this time, it has not been confirmed yet. That's a possibility. RedPillExpo.org is a website of Red Pill University for the Red Pill Expo. So just check on there and for updates as far as that. If you want us to speak in your part of the country, you just got to contact us, let us know. And the key thing is, folks, I'm not going to be there for only 20 people, right? Come all the way across the country, fly out there for 20 people. The key thing is, let's get a good-sized crowd out, okay? 100 people, 200 people, or more. Okay, so coming all the way out there is worth the time and expense necessary to come out there. The purpose, of course, of these presentations will be to what? Restore freedom for you and all Americans. So that's why, again, we're going to have a decent number of people be at these events so that it makes it worthwhile. I'm considering having these events be at no charge like they have been, or maybe have a nominal charge, maybe like $20 or something like that, just to have people put some skin in the game. Because when people don't pay the register, many of them don't show up because, well, they didn't pay for it, right? No big deal if they come up with some other events they want to go to a movie or sports game or vacation or boating or fishing, something comes up. So that's something that's subject to debate. But you can call Freedom Law School at 813-444-4800 and let us know if you have a group out there already, hopefully, a group of patriots, freedom lovers, who meet regularly perhaps. That's probably your base foundation. And with that group and the other promotions that you can be doing locally, now you can get a large group of people to show up to a meeting. Welcome everybody to Freedom Law School's Freedom Hour. I'm Peymon Motahede, the president of Freedom Law School, which I created in 1996, helping you live free of the deception and fraud of the Internal Revenue Service. We talk about this gobbledygook called the Internal Revenue Code. The Bible of the IRS, we make it simple, have you be completely legally and safely income tax-free, payroll tax-free, even corporate estate tax-free by following the law as written on U.S. government's official legal websites at freedomlawschool.org. So with that, we're going to talk about the topic this evening about the Supreme Court overturning a case called Chevron. Okay, a lot of people have asked questions. Well, does it affect the IRS in any ways, and if so, how? So we're going to cover that topic at this presentation. So let's first go to the Supreme Court case. that this stems from, called the Loper Bright Enterprises versus Raimundo, Secretary of Commerce. This just came out and decided June 28, 2024. And the U.S. Supreme Court, in this case, the holding or conclusion of the court is right here, that the Administrative Procedure Act that's a congressional law, requires courts to exercise their independent judgment in deciding whether an agency has acted within its statutory or lawful authority, and courts may not defer to an agency interpretation or understanding of the law simply because the statute is ambiguous and the Chevron case is specifically overruled. Read pages 7 through 35 of the case. So with that, we're going to go over a few key parts of that case and then apply that whole thing to the IRS. Okay? So here we see in this case, into different parts are worth noting. The court says that in the interpretation of the meaning of statutes or laws passed by legislatures like Congress, as applied to justiciable controversies, was exclusively a judicial function. That's right. The judges decide something, a controversy, in a court setting, in an issue of justice. That's all where they start saying things. That's a well-known thing everybody knows. Courts are there to judge what's law, what's not, what's justice or not, right? So with that understanding, basically, now we go on, that they continue. Then the case called Marbury versus Madison, ruled by Supreme Court right after the Constitution was ratified, very soon thereafter, that the courts decide legal questions by applying their own judgment. And again, well-known principle of law, constitutional law, and it specifies that courts, not agencies, will decide all relevant questions of law arising on review of an agency action. When the government agency has done something, the courts at the end get to decide, hey, was this done right, according to the law and the Constitution or not? That is where the courts come in. It's their job to do so. And then the Supreme Court continues by saying that the Chevron case is unworkable and needs to be overturned. That the defining feature of the framework is the identification of statutory ambiguity. See, this term statutory ambiguity is a key thing. You're going to hear that again in this presentation. When the law is ambiguous, okay, and the agency is supposed to come up with the regulations to put the fine-tuned details of the law, that's what they're talking about. You see, in my opinion, there should be no regulations at all. The law is made by legislature, and that's it. But way back in the late 1800s, the Supreme Court allowed Congress to pass laws that the railroads could not rip off people and charge too much for tickets to ride on the train going from east to west and other places, which was very popular at the time. That was the mode of transportation because it was much faster and efficient and less risky than riding on a horse and buggy. So they let the Railroad Commission set their rates that are fair and just for the railroads. So that is a background of how that stuff started. In my opinion, it's unconstitutional because, setting the rates doesn't matter what. The Congress one makes the law. The agency cannot do that because they're not lawmakers. Okay, so with that understanding now, let's get back to presentation. When they delegate the lawmaking power to the agency, and when there's an ambiguity in the law, that's what they're talking about. They said it used to be that the courts were required, the Chevron required the courts to defer to the agency, okay, of that their interpretation of the law, the ambiguity. Okay, but they say the ambiguity has always evaded meaningful definition. When is a law ambiguous? When it's not. That's subject to your opinion, my opinion, his and her opinion. So that was the issue they mentioned is a key thing, the problem. And under the Chevron case, a statutory ambiguity, no matter why it is there, becomes a license authorizing an agency to change positions as much as it likes with unexplained inconsistency. That's right. The agency then, basically, but with the Chevron case, are allowed to change course even when the Congress has given them no power to do so. They say the law is ambiguous. We're going to rule this way about the law should be applied this way, but then they're saying years later, maybe that way is more accurate. Maybe this is actually better. With gun owners, they try to do that, by the way. Recently, the Supreme Court shot that down, that they're just going all over the place. Okay? So, and then Chevron cannot be reconciled with the Administrative Procedure Act, APA, okay, by presuming that the law's statutory ambiguities are implicit delegations to agencies. In other words, I say that you cannot assume just because law is ambiguous or vague, impliedly it delegates to agencies to make law, because after all, the agencies are part of the executive branch. They can not make law. Only legislature, that we the people, you and I, everybody, we elected, they can make the law. Okay? And then, let's see. And ambiguity in the law is not a delegation of law interpreting power. Yep. Just what I was sharing with you guys. And Chevron itself reaffirmed that the judiciary is the final authority on issues of statutory construction. Even Chevron itself said that way back then. Okay, but they deferred too much, to the agency's interpretation of the law. Okay, the view that interpretation of ambiguous statutory programs amounts to policymaking suited for political actors rather than court is especially mistaken. Well, that's not the way they should be, they say. So, by forcing courts to instead pretend that ambiguities are necessarily delegations of authority to the executive branch of government agencies, Chevron does not prevent judges from making policy. It prevents them from judging, because judges are supposed to be judging cases. That is their job. Okay, they gotta be judging. But the way Chevron said, well, the judges cannot judge. You have to defer to the interpretation of the executive branch agency. And that's what's being now here overruled by the U.S. Supreme Court. Okay? This court, for its part, has not deferred to an agency interpretation under Chevron since 2016. In other cases that came up, they did not defer to the agencies. They said we went with our interpretation. So the same, Chevron was not exactly at those cases, analyzed and discussed and overturned, but here we are now going to really do it right as we wanted to and need to do so. And then they mention that again, Chevron allows agencies to change course even when Congress has given them no power to do so. Again, they repeat this big point that, executive branch should not be given the power to change the law. The law is only written by the people that we the people put in place, the legislature, the Congress in federal cases, not the agencies. They are not answerable to the people directly anymore. They never were. Okay, and then now the Journal of Accountancy has an interesting article about this. They talk about the case called the Mayo Foundation. In 2011, Mayo Foundation for Medical Education and Research, in that case, the Supreme Court resolved a split in the lower courts, the split of difference of opinion in lower courts, and held that Chevron deference applied to interpretive tax regulations under Section 805A, which gives the general grant of authority to Treasury to prescribe all needful rules and regulations for enforcement of the code. Okay? Before that case, the courts had generally given a lower level of deference to Treasury interpretive regulations. They were given a low level of delegation for the agency to write the regulations. Okay? Now, the Internal Revenue Code has changed its manual to eliminate the statement that most regulations are interpretive and not subject to procedural requirements under Administrative Procedure Act. Okay, so these findings suggest that Treasury devoted more resources to promulgating regulations once tax regulations were held to be eligible for Chevron deference. That's a lot of gobbledygook, but I just want to mention that to you just so it's there. I don't want to spend too much time on this part, but because I want to get the main part coming up here. In the short term, a nullification of Chevron would mean that much of the day-to-day regulatory framework for tax will be put on hold and litigated. That's the key. More things will be put on hold and litigated about the interpretations of the tax law. Okay? And in the longer term, Congress will need to be incredibly specific in the statutes it passes. Okay? That's right. Well, that's what Congress needs to do. It's their job to do that, to make a law clear and specific for everybody to follow, okay? And this will be difficult in the current political environment, as getting anything done in Congress is the chore. Well, good. Things done in Congress should be a chore. Why? Because we don't want always mountains and mountains of law. The Founding Fathers intended for laws to be simple, short, easy for everybody to know, and therefore easy for everybody to follow. Now that they make it so voluminous and they allow the agency to make that law even more voluminous by allowing them to make regulations based upon the law, it's become even much more voluminous and convoluted. Well, guess what? It's going to simplify and lessen the amount of laws that people have to follow. Okay, in America. So it's a good thing that the laws will become more specific as they pass. So it doesn't really affect things, though, as far as us and the freedom movement is concerned. Why? It doesn't affect us in a much serious way because we don't deal with all that. You see, this book, the federal tax laws, the Internal Revenue Code that the IRS follows, the Bible of the IRS, okay? Over 10,000 pages of gobbledygook, tissue-thin, small fonts of PhD-level English language written deliberately to confuse you, right? We don't even play in this thing. That's not mainly for us. We don't belong in there. That applies primarily, this internal book. Federal tax laws apply to citizens and residents of Washington, D.C., federal workers. Sometimes it applies to certain activities within the U.S. territories, federal territories like Guam and Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands. They apply that much to people of the 50 states like oil taxes. You don't have to pay any federal income taxes, payroll taxes, corporate taxes, estate taxes, gambling, wagering taxes, even gun manufacturing taxes in the 50 states, because that book does not apply to you. It applies to people outside of the 50 states like Washington, D.C. and or territories at some occasions. So we don't have to play in this jungle at all. This jungle of gobbledygook is not for you and I at all to worry about all these regulations. Chevron was overturned or not. It just basically doesn't matter. We just stay out of it. Because guess what? The Founding Fathers of America meant for you to not be a slave, meant for you to be a free man and woman. They did not have a bloody revolution, put their lives, their fortune, and sacred honor on the line for their children and grandchildren to become slaves. and you're not a slave from now on if you choose not to be a slave. That's right. In the past, you were deceived to believe you got to file income tax. No more. You no longer have that deception. The road is open for you to be free. So I'll show it to you briefly. Go to freedomlawschool.org and restore freedom by taking the 7 steps to regain your power and freedom. This way, you will never again voluntarily pay the Washington, D.C. swamp legally and safely, guaranteed. The 7 steps, folks, are easy. All you got to do is just, as you drive around in your car, going to work, to and from work, shopping, exercising, activities, whatever you're driving around, listen to them. And then when you get home for lunch or dinner or work, watch on your smartphone or computer, and you see it's all there. Number 1, you got to follow the law. We are sticklers for the law. And you'll see for yourself in 9 minutes that based on the U.S. official legal websites of the U.S. government, no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income taxes, okay? The proof is in our videos, and there's more videos about this topic in more detail, short videos, and then long videos. Now, the next thing people ask is, well, Peymon, but I got to file an income tax to be safe. No, you don't. You got to stop filing income tax forms. They had you believe that filing is a safe thing to do. But no, it's the opposite. You put the rope around your neck when you file a 1040 form under penalty of perjury, under oath. You swear it's all true, correct, and complete. You see, when you sign a 1040 form, you put the noose around your neck. How? It's simple. You state under oath that you owe the IRS money. That's right. You said it, not the IRS. You claim you owe the IRS money, and based upon that now, you authorize the IRS to audit you, empty your bank account, steal your property, and even put you in prison. That's right. So check that out for yourself and disabuse yourself of the lie that you should file to be safe. That's the opposite. And then, folks, step 3, you get to realize the IRS is over 99% bluff. And these cartoons folks have here just exemplify the fact that the Wizard of Oz is at work. The Wizard of Oz have deceived you, the major media. That IRS is such a scary monster. Be afraid. We're going to get you. But guess what? They don't. They're leaving non-filers alone. There's 80 million non-filers out there. They just brainwashed us to believe that we're weak, we should be afraid, and be a slave by signing a piece of paper under oath to our master. Master, I tell you how much I owe you under oath. Please go easy on me. Okay? So then once you get through that, step 4 for you to be free is take courage from our victories. Because, folks, no student of Freedom Law School has ever gone to prison for federal taxes, nor had their paycheck or bank account levied or home or business seized by the IRS. Never. That's right. This cartoon tells the truth about the IRS being a myth, a fraud. Okay, but you gotta check it out for yourself to be free. Okay, we've done this probably for over 20 years. Okay, and our students all been free if they came to us clean and stay with Freedom Law School. Then, folks, you need to question authority, folks. Yeah, it's simple. Write to your Congress members. File pay income tax only if your congressman can show you the law that requires you to file and pay income taxes. That's right. If they show you there's a law requiring you to file and pay income tax, go ahead and do it. Let me know. I'll do it too. I'll start filing myself. But they cannot do so. Not once they've done that. We've done these petitions thousands and thousands of times. People done it so many times on their own, with or without us. And not once one lawmaker has shown us wrong. Not even once. So go and verify this all for yourself. And then, folks, after this, if you want to be protected even stronger, you want to join the Restore Freedom Plan, if you have the spirit of the American Founding Fathers within you. If you are a man of conviction, of truth, of courage, of knowledge and wisdom, rather than ignorance and fear and cowering down to lick the boots of these people that want to be your masters. If you like these courageous men, then this club is for you, my friends. Yes. For modern day founding fathers of America, the privilege of 100% guarantee is available. No one else has ever had anything like this ever in America. No one. This is absolutely unique, available to Freedom Law School if you decide to hang together with other like-minded, truth and freedom lover men of God like yourself, my friends. So, bottom line is, by joining hands together, now you can enjoy 100% guarantee when you legally stop filing and paying income taxes. And as long as you are a member of Restore Freedom Plan, Freedom Law School will prevent the IRS from levying your money, or Freedom Law School will reimburse you, and you will not go to prison whatsoever for tax stuff. So if that's such a good deal, folks, all is left to do for you is just tell other people. Join. Again, step 7 is optional. To spread the word, folks, we would love for you to become modern-day Paul Revere's and expose American people, families, to the truth about the law, and Restore Freedom America. Once again, we'll be happy to pay you. Yes, we're going to pay you, compensate you, reward you for opening your mouth, be modern-day Paul Revere's, and have America be a free country once again. So with that, folks, go to freedomlawschool.org and continue your journey to freedom, folks. I cannot do it for you, folks. I'm just only one guy. Okay, at the end, the key to freedom for you is in your hands, not mine. All I can do is lead you to the water and let you drink the water if you choose to. So choose knowledge. Choose seeking the truth. Choose take the time in your car, listen to our videos, and at home later watch them again for review and making sure it's true. And you will be on your way to freedom, peace of mind, joy, prosperity, and freedom like you were meant to be. Thanks for watching. Okay, folks, now the ball is in your court. If you have any questions, you're welcome and encouraged to ask them from me now. Also, we respond to some of your comments online as well on social media platforms that we're on. So you can ask your questions whichever way that you prefer. I'm happy to answer any and all the questions you got tonight before I go and spend some time with my family afterwards. So with that, folks, the call number is on the screen. If you have a question, dial 657-383-1755 and then press 1 on your telephone keypad. That's again, the number is 657-383-1755. And on your telephone keypad, press 1. And that will let me know you have a question. And I'll be taking questions one at a time. We have a call right now from area code 734. Before you ask your question, folks, we ask you to please let me know how you heard about us. After you're giving us your first name, and then go ahead and ask your question. So from area code 734 caller, go ahead, give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
My name is Rachel. I heard about you through my daughter who found your podcast. I think you were talking to one of the podcasts. I don't know which one it is. And she told me about you, so I got very interested, and I wanted to ask a brief question.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what are the laws regarding the IRS following, requiring to be paid for transferring money from one country to another? In other words, if I have money in one country and I want to transfer it to here, to my bank account here, how is the IRS going to give me penalty for doing that? And what are the international tax laws regarding this matter?
The fact is, there is no tax law about you bringing money of your own money from another country to the United States. Bring back whatever you want. It does not apply to the IRS at all. It's not other business. Bring millions from wherever you are to America. It's your money. Who told you this lie that somehow bring money to America, it is taxable? It's not. It's your money. You bring it to your state where you live and do what it is you want to.
Wow. And so if the IRS sees that I transferred money to my bank account here from another country, that means that they cannot take money away from me?
That's right. They don't. Look, this is not what country were you born at, Rachel? Where are you from? What country are you from? Where were you born at? Or your parents? You have an accent.
I was born in Israel, and I have dual citizenship.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. Look, America is not like most countries of the world where the government can just take your stuff. It's not like that. In America, you have a right to due process of law, which means right to a trial. That's right. Before the government takes any of your money. Okay? So you can do whatever you want in America. The government has a problem with that. They have to take you to court, sue you in a lawsuit. When they win after they get a judgment, then they may be able to take your stuff, but not beforehand. Okay, so bring all the money you want in America. It doesn't matter. Look, trillions of dollars every day are transferred worldwide throughout the banking system of the world. The IRS is not watching them. This image that the media portrayed for you, that the IRS is just big monster watching you. Whoa, I'm watching you, your bank account. You know, people 1099 you, W-2, we see what's going on with you. It's just a myth. Okay, do what you want to do. You'll be fine. And if you want to be further protected, all you got to do is to join Restore Freedom Plan, and then we'll give you the complete protection that you want, and with the guarantee that if they ever come after you, we'll do all the work, we pay all the attorneys as necessary, and we win for you. And even if we were to lose at some point and they take your money, we'll reimburse you out of our funds. We make you whole, reimburse you everything that the IRS took from you, so you lose nothing. Okay?
What is the cost of joining your firm?
The Restore Freedom Plan is 30% of what you would have otherwise paid to It's Really Satan.
Again, 30% of what? I'm sorry.
Or what you would have paid to the IRS. So if you would have paid
in this particular case, or what? In this particular case? Or
in any case. In any case. Whether you owe the IRS $10,000 or $10 million. Whatever that amount may be, I don't know. Some people make a little bit of money, pay the IRS a little bit. Some people make a lot of money and pay the IRS a lot of money. Whatever that amount is, we have you keep 70% of it, and only 30% of it you give to Restore Freedom Plan.
So I show you what they took from me last year, the 2023, and 30% of that?
No. If you were to file a 10 for income tax confession form with the IRS, whatever that form says that you owe them, if you were to do that, 30% of that number. Let me show you in step 2 what I'm talking about a little bit more clearly, okay? See, when you file a 1040 form, okay, I'm going to put it on the screen, on line 37, amount you owe, okay, is right there. You sign on that piece of paper, 1040 form on line 37, this is the amount you owe. And you swear to that you owe that under penalties of perjury, under oath you say that. So I don't know how much that would be until you do that on your own on a 1040 form, or go to our website on the top of the page under application, top center, click on application, and you agree to terms, which is no big deal, agree, and then you fill out the information right there about year 2023, for example, here. Select your marital status. Let's suppose you as, for example, I'm going to put you single. W-2 employment income or W-2, for example, let's put on there, for example, I'm going to put on there $40,000. Okay, for example. Let's suppose net business profits, you have 60,000. I'm just going to, again, make up some numbers, okay? Let's suppose you have federal income tax withheld already. You put out, let's say 2,000 withheld from your paycheck, okay? And let's suppose you have one child there under 16, and you have no other form of income, okay, in this simple example. Here, in this example, you would have otherwise paid to the IRS, the Washington, D.C. swamp, to the FBI, CIA, DOJ, all the crooks and criminals, your enemies that want to destroy you, you would have given them $15,000 of your hard-earned money. But instead of doing that, you're going to save and keep $10,500 of that $15,000, and your membership contribution rate in this example is only $4,500. So you go to our website on the application, click on this, and on this, go fill out the form and tells you amount. Then you click on continue. It takes you forward from there. About your membership, just follow the steps right there. Okay? Any other questions?
No, but if I do, I will call and talk to one of your members.
Yes, call educators at 813-444-4800 at Freedom Law School. We'll be happy to answer more of your questions and guide you through the process.
Could you repeat the number, please?
813, put it on the screen also, 813-444-4800. The number is also on our website at freedomlawschool.org. Again, the number is 813-444-4800.
Right. Excellent. I appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
I will do that.
Okay, my pleasure. All right, folks. The call screen is open right now. If you have any questions, here's your chance to get your question answered. Call the call number. Let's put that on the screen. Area code 657-383-1755. And your telephone keypad, you press 1. And now we'll take your question next. Again, dial 813-444-4800. And on your telephone keypad, you press 1. And I'll be taking your question right now. Otherwise, we end the Freedom Hour. Wish you all a great summer. It's our slow season. The weather's nice. Go out there, jump in the pool, go to the beach, go to mountains and the trees, whatever you want to do. Enjoy your time. But let's see if you have any other caller. I don't think we do. Well, folks, I'm going to give you all my love. I want you to know, folks, I want for every one of you to have your freedom and your choice to do your life as you want. God gave it to you. Not these crooks and criminals in D.C. to control and manipulate you with deception and make a slave out of you. Remember, folks, this is at the core a spiritual war. Between the forces of darkness and ignorance on the one hand, darkness, ignorance, and fear. That's what they use, folks. They keep you in the dark, deceive you, you don't know what's going on. Yeah, and therefore you're afraid what's going on out there in the dark. I'm not sure. There's a boogeyman out there called the IRS. Wow, gonna get me? That's what they want. Or because, people suffer for lack of knowledge. Or you can choose the alternative and you seek the truth. And the truth shall set you free. And the key word is, you must seek it. I cannot do that for you. All I can do is to provide the information, the truth for you. But you're the one that got to plug into it. If you have questions, go to our website. For example, besides the 7 steps that we have to free yourself of IRS, deception, fear, robbery, slavery. We have, for example, on the educational material, frequently asked questions. Take advantage of the education material. Frequently asked questions. A lot of your common questions are answered there. So watch these videos, okay? You have further questions that you don't see answers to? Call us. We'll be more than happy to guide you to the answers that you want so you can feel comfortable in your heart and your mind that you are doing the right thing, the truthful, loving thing for you, your family, and America. So with that, I wish you all a great evening. Oh, one more thing. We got a question? Oh, we got a caller. Just we're about to end it. Somebody has a question. All right, we'll take your last minute. Caller from area code 480. 480 caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about us, and then your question, please.
Hi, my name is Chris. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and I saw you on TikTok videos. Someone was promoting your company. It was a female. I don't know her name right off the top of my head. My question is, over 80 million people, I heard, do not pay federal taxes. They elected not to.
Do not file.
I just
Do not
filed.
file. And some of them have withholding from their paycheck, but they do not file. 80 million people is the best estimate based upon IRS's own numbers, right? Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just filed exempt with my employer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering how long it takes. I haven't received my next week's paycheck until tomorrow. I don't know if it starts immediately, but I was wondering if they normally go after high income earners. I understand that maybe if you make 400,000, they may start sending you letters, but if you make 110,000, you're kind of like under their radar and they won't come after you. And a question about the revocation of election. You don't recommend that, correct?
Correct. First of all, they don't come after you if you don't file, almost never. Extreme rare cases they may come after non-filers, okay? But if you do file, now you create a possibility for the IRS to come after you because you made yourself a target. You see, the very thing that gives them the power they deceived you to believe is a safe thing to do. You've literally put a rope around your neck under oath. You say under oath, Master, I owe you this much money. Please accept I owe you this much money only. I owe you no more. And please don't pick on me too as a slave of you. Prove all my expenses and deductions and credits. And IRS master says, well, slave, I think you are a liar. You prove that expense. You prove that deduction. You know, I don't know about you. A lot of you slaves are cheating, so the other slaves, have to pay more. All that happens because it deceived you into doing the very thing that gives them the power to mess with you. Remember, back in 2017, IRS stopped coming after non-filers in an automated fashion with the computers they used to do. In fact, I'll show it to you right now on my screen. You can go step 3, IRS and mostly bluff. You see on here, this chart I have here that shows IRS used to come after non-filers in 2010 and 11. This is a very powerful chart. Okay, come after non-filers, about 1 million of them got a letter of some kind. By the way, these are toothless letters. Not the legal letters, toothless thread letters, about 1 million a year back in year 2009 and 2010. But the collapse of the IRS started after 2010, and you see that blue line right there, keep going down radically fast, slow down. And here by the time 2016 came out, whoa, look at that, nearly zero. That's right, nearly zero non-files they came after. The IRS management chose deliberately to leave 99.9% of non-filers alone. Again, it's a myth that they come after you if you don't file, whether you make $10,000 or $10 million. In fact, I'm going to show something even more incredible on this page. Look at this. This will blow you away. Back in 2020, look at this report from the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. These are the auditors of the United States Treasury Department. They said high-income non-filers owing billions of dollars are not being worked by the Internal Revenue Service. Basically, the IRS refuses to go after even extremely rich non-filers. U.S. Treasury auditors gave the IRS a list of 100 richest income tax non-filers who each would owe the IRS about $100 million. Now that they make that much, they would owe the IRS not $100,000, $100 million. And recommended to the IRS to go after these people for taxes. You would think, Chris, that would be a no-brainer for the IRS to come after them. I mean, after all, they're embarrassed. Oops. We missed this big guys. Sorry, Mr. Auditors of the U.S. Treasury. We did bad. We didn't go after them like we should have. Sorry. It won't happen again. Yes. We'll go after them again. We'll go after them now. Yes. Hey, you guys down below. Hey, come on. Assign somebody. Get these guys. 100 people each own $100 million. Come on, guys. Let's go get these guys. Easy money. Right? But no. Look at this. The IRS is so broken, disorganized. Lazy and irresponsible communists. Communist folks are lazy. They don't work. That the IRS refused to commit to going after these extremely rich, high-income non-filers. So, do you make anything close to $100 million? Do you?
No.
Okay then. Why worry about them coming after you?
Okay, another question is, what is your definition of voluntary? Because they say taxes are voluntary and unconstitutional, and a lot of legal lawyers on here are saying voluntary doesn't mean you can choose whether to pay or not to pay. Voluntary means you volunteer to submit your taxes at the end of the year. It has nothing to do with voluntary to stop.
Listen.
Why do they say that?
Gotta ask them that question. I don't get into those discussions at all. Okay? I don't get into that discussion at all. It's not necessary. It's very simple. The citizen and residents of Washington, D.C., they have to pay federal income tax. If you're a federal worker that works in D.C., you have to pay federal income tax also. For them, it's mandatory. For the rest of us, the people of the 50 states, they suckered us, deceived us, voluntarily pay income tax by signing a 1040 form under oath, swearing on that paper you owe the IRS money. Remember, all of you can stop the stealing of money from your paycheck, income taxes from your paycheck, simply by following the directions on our website lawfully and safely. So do there. Stop the stealing of income tax in the first place. Now, you're not in a position of having to file a 1040 income tax confession form to get a little piece of that money that's stole from your paycheck back. You kept all the income tax that you never owed in the first place in your own pocket to begin with. All right, Chris?
Yep. One last thing real quick before you have to leave. Will this affect my Social Security?
Nope. Any other questions?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we have another call now from area code 305. You're live, my friend, from area code 305. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Yes, hey, Peymon. This is David in Miami, a fellow Floridian like yourself. How are you?
I'm doing good, my friend. And how did you hear about Freedom Law School, David?
I actually found out about you from Alex Jones a couple weeks ago, and actually more than a few weeks ago. I think it was maybe a month or two ago when you were on. I also saw a couple of his clips as well afterwards, some promos, I guess.
Okay.
And so it caught my attention, and basically, I have, two questions. One, I've actually asked it in the chat, and I think you answered the question. That was, for many years, I've been receiving a commission as a realtor here in Miami since 2006 through an established LLC, Florida LLC. And then, of course, from that, of course, it's used as a pass-through. Expenses are paid that are incurred. And then, of course, afterwards, I receive a distribution personally from the proceeds, or the remaining proceeds, I guess you could say. I might be using some incorrect accounting phrases, but for the most part, that's how it's been done. But I think you answered my question that it's not necessary. I mean, the only reason why it would be necessary to have the LLC is obviously one of the main reasons is to avoid personal liability. But aside from that, from the taxation point of view, it is not necessary. Would that be correct? And simply just receiving the commissions, if I wanted to, forget about the legal liability aspect. If it just from a purely tax standpoint, if I just wanted to receive the money, let's say from my broker directly into my personal account, I would be okay.
Yes.
Okay. Second question. I'm actually giving a little bit too much information about myself. I'm sure the feds are listening. I don't care. I was born in the District of Columbia. Okay, quite a long time ago. Does that mean anything to the feds whatsoever? I mean, to the IRS?
Nope.
Or do I simply just have to be a resident?
Nope. As long as now you are a Floridian and you consider Florida to be your country in this union of 50 states, that's all there is to it.
Yes.
You're good. You're a Floridian.
Okay.
That's your country within the 50 countries of this union called the United States of America, and you're fine.
Okay. That's it. You answered my questions. I'm interested, and we'll be in touch.
Very good. You're welcome, my friend. All right, folks. I think this is it. One more last try for last stragglers with questions, folks. Come on, get on there quick. If you have a question, call now. 657-383-1755. And on your telephone keypad, press 1. Now we'll take your question. Dial 657-383-1755. And on your telephone keypad, you press 1. And I will get your question answered just like I answered these guys. Remember, I'll be in Denver, okay, coming up, okay, on this weekend, Saturday, July 13th, 8:30 till 5:30 p.m. It's a free event, okay? It's in Greenwood Village in Denver, Colorado. I'll be there with Joe Bannister, former gun-carrying IRS special agent whistleblower, student of Freedom Law School who defected in 1999 to the Freedom Movement. He'll be there along with Joe Altman, successful businessman, millionaire, freedom lover, who is from a very famous, especially in Colorado. Constitutional tax attorney Peter Gibbons for over 25 years, folks. Peter Gibbons has been finding the crooks in Washington, D.C., okay, and one of my good friends in this whole movement. We'll have also Tina Peters, folks. She was a clerk, election clerk in Mesa County, Colorado, who found about election fraud there. And now they're exposing it. They're coming after her. Well, they're going to lose. She's going to win. She'll be speaking about her journey, okay, about the fraud and cheating you out of your votes that's going on in America, as far as Garrett Ziegler, who is an assistant to an assistant of Donald Trump, Mr. Peter Navarro. He'll be there as well. So with that, folks, we have, I think, no more callers with questions. So I hope to see you in Denver. Folks, remember, that's this free event. Register online, okay? It's going to be at the Comedy Works, okay? This event. There it is, okay? We have room for only 400 people. Register for free before it fills up. It's your last chance to folks that register there. Bring your family members with you. Your wife, your children, grandchildren are welcome, folks. Yes, this is good for people of all ages to come to the Restore Freedom Rally we have in Denver, Colorado this Saturday, July 13th from 8:30 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. With that, folks, I wish you all freedom, prosperity, peace of mind, and the choice to choose joy and freedom and love and knowledge over ignorance and fear that they got there for you. Freedom is there for you to take. Take it from us, and I'll see you all in Denver in person or online.